ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna dedicate this video to every single person out there who bought an Assassin's Creed collector's box at 400 or 380 even. Our hats are off to you. I'm sorry. Now, if you watched my video on it and then you went out and bought one for 400, no pity for you at all. I warned you. So, well, today's release day for Assassin's Creed. Can we throw it up where we at? I think if you go back, like, what video was it? I think it's one of the ones where I'm talking about don't invest in collector booster boxes. I think I perfectly draw out, I perfectly drew out exactly what was gonna happen. I drew out something like that, and I was like complaining about, because I think it was more of a steep line. I was complaining about that, and I drew this graph. And basically, if you kind of throw up the Assassin's Creed graph to that, I pretty much predicted it completely. I think I said, like, I thought they were going to get down to, like, 275. So, I didn't think it was going to be this quick, I'll be honest. I thought it was going to maybe take a little while. I didn't think we were going to get there this quick. But, hey, it happens sometimes, right? So what is today's lesson, then? What are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about how, one, you can't really create demand. I mean, you can, right? Like, but it's very hard. It's a lot harder to create demand than it is to try and, like, artificially make artificial scarcity. So, and that's basically what happened with Assassin's Creed, right? Is they were like, well, we're trying to build demand for it. We can't really build demand for it. There is no demand for it, right? So if demand doesn't work, even though demand is key, they're like, well, we're just going to create artificial scarcity. I don't really want to write that all out. And so when there's no demand and you just do artificial scarcity, you get the pump, but the demand has to hold it, right? Like that's why the Greninja is holding, is because it's the perfect. So, and that's kind of what I want to talk about too, right? Is the perfect blend of artificial scarcity and, yeah, basically the perfect blend of demand and artificial scarcity. Like with the Greninja, right? We see it kind of, and it has its dips, right? But it just keeps, so it, like, for people who think it doesn't look natural, like, I mean, go look at the Greninja. Every time it looks exactly like a chart. Like, it'll establish a bottom, and then it'll hit a new high, and it'll kind of go down, and it'll hit that bottom. Like, look, every time the Greninja hits 200, it gets bought up. So, that was, I think, Pokemon did a perfect job of, I mean, you know what? I'll throw it up on the screen. I'm not going to show you guys. I think I still have a screenshot of it. I'm not going to tell you guys what card it is. But I basically pumped a card, right? And you can literally see where it just goes like this. And it's because this is fake. Right? So the second the person doing this stops, that's kind of like where the real test kicks in, right? So obviously there wasn't nearly enough people actually wanting to buy it, so it basically, no, I mean, it did kind of retrace like slightly higher, like that. But basically, you know, from like, because like it should have been more like this, right? Like if you look at it, that makes a lot more sense than this. So like, trust me, guys, like the market will figure itself out. That's why, like, I personally, unless something crazy happens, I don't think the Greninja is going to go below 200, 175, 185. maybe 150 at the lowest. I don't think it'll go below 150 though. I think that's the lowest you'll ever see the Greninja is 150. Now, of course, unless Pokemon's like, oh, we did something crazy. But again, I think this will be the norm. Okay, here's also, all right, if you made it this far, I'm going to get into conspiracy stuff here that I have no proof of. But basically, the whole point of this video was artificial scarcity cannot beat demand. But if you can pair artificial scarcity and demand, like, if you can, like, kind of meld that together perfectly, you get Pokemon, basically. That's kind of why, like, for example, with Beanie Babies, it was artificial scarcity, but then eventually there was, like, zero demand. So then that just collapsed, right? Oh, what conspiracy was I going to tell you guys? Oh, yes, I remember now. Okay, here's my conspiracy. So most people will tell you that all, like, basically, I don't want to get it, but, like, you have, like, your illustration rares, and, like, your SIRs, and then, like, your ultra rares, and your rares and whatnot, right? And everyone will tell you that each card in one of these groups has the same pull rate, and that there isn't one that's harder to pull than the other. Well, me personally, with zero data to back this up other than kind of some data I see on TCG Player, but again, it could just be the demand that is showing that. I personally, and I'll give, like, Twilight Masquerade as an example, I think the Greninja is printed less than the other SIRs. I think that there is, like, hit, chase, single cards. Like, I think cards within, now, I don't know about other categories, but I definitely think within the SIR category that there is different pull rates for each different card. Or for possibly, like, one. Like, I think, like, the Greninja may have a different pull rate, but then everything else has the same pull rate. Again, I don't really have any data to back this up other than if I was a billion-dollar company, that's what I would do. It makes sense. Like, for example, like, I know it's technically a different card class, but, like, One Piece has, like, the one-hit, like, the manga illustration rare, right? I don't know if it's called manga illustration, but the manga rare, or whatever you want to call it, manga illustration. So I personally think that there is different pull rates, and I think they do the same thing with Magic. And I know a lot of people say they don't, but I think they do. That'd be a good discussion. Tell me how wrong I am about that. Again, I really have no proof other than, well, if I was a billion-dollar company, that's what I would do. Like why not? So I know it's all sheet printed. I know how it all works, right? But you just, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. But I trust me, I think that's what they're doing. But that's really it, guys. I just wanted to say, like, hey, hi, I told you so. No, I'm just kidding. But mostly, and I'll make a video about this eventually, and I'm not really gonna get into it here, but there's an equation, right? And I don't even know how I would write it up. I'm gonna have to think about this more. But it has something to do with, like, you know, price equals, you know, demand divided, or, you know, supply times the availability of the, and then divide that by the year. No, I don't know. Something like that, right? Like, there's some sort of formula for all of this. And you can kind of cook it up. I'm sure that's like that's the secret formula. There's probably a patent for this. I'm probably not supposed to. I'm going to come, you know, the Pinkertons are going to come take my whiteboard away or something because I'm displaying, like, the patents and shit. It's like those mobile games that have patents on, like, loot boxes that are designed to screw you. There's some secret formula to collectability. But I think the biggest contributor to that is demand. This is the secret sauce. This is the thing that you really just can't cook up in a lab. You got to like tap into that demand, right? So, but yeah. Man, Assassin's Creed, huh? Have a good one, guys.